Well, believe it or not, me and John have now had the Casita for going on 6 months.
6 months.
And we got it in November, and we thought we would sit down.
The very beginning of November. This is the very end of April. So
Yeah.
we're a couple weeks
So,
shy of
yeah.
6 months, but it's close.
So we are going to do a few things. We are going to do a 6-month Casita review and what our thoughts are. And what are you going to share?
Oh, and then I'll go over, we're going to be trying to do this kind of over the next few videos that we actually are camping, is just kind of go over our setup and tear down, and then, preparing the Casita for travel and that kind of thing. And so we figured in this video, we'd just kind of share our 6-month review, thoughts on the Casita, and then I'll share kind of the basics of the checklist for preparing it for travel and setting it up. The one thing I will say, even in looking through these instructions or these checklists, some things are options that we don't have, or some things are for specific trailers that we don't have. This is Casita specific, and because this isn't like a perfect list, it makes me think if you have any other trailer, obviously besides the Casita, this is, I would say, a good guideline, but it's not necessarily like everything you want to think about. You want to think about your situation. Everybody's situation is going to be different.
So if you're in the market for a trailer, specifically fiberglass, doesn't necessarily have to be a Casita, you'll probably want to stick around. This video is going to be more talking, but we thought we would give you a lovely background for you to view also. So I will start by giving you a little background. We are actually coming from a camper van. We had a Ford Transit camper van that we built out. We had it for about 3 years. It was an all-wheel drive, which is kind of special with that van. A lot of people who had like Ford Transits were like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. It is, all-wheel drive. So it got us to some really cool places. John did a really great job. It was a basic build. We had a full-size bed. We had limited storage. We could never quite figure out the storage in the van. And we had a Dometic. Was it a Dometic fridge? Or
it was an Iceco.
It was an Iceco fridge.
But it was great. Like, fridge and freezer.
Totally. Like it was an
chest
ice
style.
chest style. Yeah. So it would go deep. We had half that would be freezer, half that would be fridge. And it was great. The reason we left camping in a van was because we wanted something that we could detach from, leave camp where it was, and then take the car and go explore that area. So that is the main reason. We never were specifically thinking of Casita. It's just something that we kind of, really stumbled across and learned as we went. So that's the background of why we left van life. On the weekends was because we just wanted to leave camp where it was and have a vehicle that we could go and explore. There's things that we miss about having a van. We are in a campground that's pretty remote down a washboard road.
A long washboard road.
It goes 17 miles. We're 7 miles in. And how long do you think 7 miles took us to get here?
Probably 45 minutes.
Yeah. So, and John was, I think usually I'm the panicky one, but John was a little stressed. He was feeling pretty bad for our trailer. It got a pretty good beating yesterday, but that is the whole reason we bought a fiberglass trailer.
And a small trailer. It's
17 feet. Tell him the weight of the trailer.
I don't remember exactly. It's under 5,000 pounds gross vehicle weight. It's like fully loaded. It's under that. I want to say it's like 2,800 pounds or something like that. It's well under 5,000 pounds fully loaded. So pretty much anything. I don't want to say anything. Many vehicles can tow it. You don't need a full size truck, even though that's what we have. But many vehicles can tow it. The other thing is it's pretty narrow. It's only maybe 6.5 feet wide. So it's not one of those 8-foot wide or wider trailers, so it's pretty narrow, and I've never really towed before, not on any kind of regular basis, and it's very comfortable to tow, and I'm getting used to it pretty quick. So,
but we felt pretty bad. It was very washboardy, and but we got here, and this spot's incredible. But you can watch my previous video on that to learn more about this area. But yeah, so do you want to start with like the checklist, or do you want to start with review of what we...
Let's go for the review, and that way the checklist, we can put that at the end of the video. If people want to listen to it, they can. I'll try to make it more entertaining than just my normal monotone voice. But that way you don't have to. Like, I won't make people sit and listen to this if they don't want to.
Yeah, and so, okay, my first thing is, when we bought this trailer, we had the option just to get the heat strip or the propane heater. We opted to get the propane heater, and by getting the propane heater, we lost cupboard space, just one cupboard. The reason we opted for the propane heater, living in the Pacific Northwest in the winter, it can get pretty cold. We do not live in an area that it snows. Well, it does snow once or twice a year, but we live an hour from the snow line.
Yeah, it doesn't snow a lot, but it snows.
Yeah. So it does get pretty cold, and we knew by having a fiberglass trailer with how wet this area is, we wanted something that was going to do well in that type of weather. And so that's why we opted for the propane heater.
I would say the other thing for the propane heater that is very important, at least to me, was we want to be able to camp a little bit like this, more dry camping. And the electric heater takes a lot of electricity. So the propane heater, and we have both, but this way the propane heater, it's really only the control panel that's being controlled by electric, and then the heat's just the propane. So you don't have to worry about running out of power.
Yeah, so we do have the propane and the heat strip. We opted for both. If you live in a cold area and you're going to winter camp, I would recommend the propane heater, 100%.
Or if you're going to boondock or anything
boondock,
like that,
dry camp, you're going to want the propane heater. That thing pumps heat. It gets this thing cozy. It got down to she's right here. Okay. It got down, we have our little dog with us. It got down to about 39 degrees last night. Would you say?
Yeah, and colder the night before.
And colder the night before, and super cozy. I actually woke up at one point and I'm like, okay, it's hot in here. And so last night we turned it down a couple degrees and it was totally fine. But propane is great. It's, like John said, it's easy to tow. We left in a previous video, we were at the Crooked River, and we opted to leave a little bit early and actually come to this location. And John was saying, a few months ago, I probably wouldn't have done that because you have to tear down and set up. And it was a big chore because we didn't know what we were doing. And so it was a learning curve. And so now John's feeling comfortable enough that it wasn't a big deal. He just was like, okay, let's do it. And so we got here, and now when you're dry camping, it is a little bit easier of a setup because you're not hooking up. But I mean, the trailer was set up in 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that much more difficult to hook up if you're somewhere that has hookups. I think as you listen to the checklist at the end, if anybody wants to listen to that, it's a lot. It's like you have all these things, and it's pretty daunting if you haven't done it really before, which I hadn't. So it was daunting to me, but after doing it a few times, some of these things, you do like one process and it takes care of 5 or 6 of these things sometimes. And so it's really a lot easier than it sounds, but it sounds, at least to me, it sounded very overwhelming. So
we got the Independence Deluxe, and what that means is this particular trailer comes with 2 twin beds. And I know that we've shared on past videos, but if you're new to my channel, I'll share why we converted it from 2 twins to a full. And I actually had somebody recently ask me a question on one of my videos of why we converted it to a full and went away from the twin setup. I'm 5'11", John is 6'2". The twin setup fit us in length totally fine. I will be very transparent. I only tried that setup for 1 camping trip, and I kind of do kick myself. I wish I would have tried a few more trips because by having the twin setup, you have a full length walkway to like that back window with a bench
And storage.
and storage. And we lost a lot of that when we converted it to a full-size bed. Now, I like the full-size bed, and the reason I think I went away from it is because I do like sleeping next to John, and sleeping in a twin, it just felt weird to me. Um, and we got a really nice mattress. We bought it on Amazon. I don't even know the brand. I'll have to look up the brand name, but we got a really nice foam mattress, full size, and we fit fine in it. I sleep, Casita has rounded corners in the back, so it is a little bit shorter, but again, I'm 5'11" and I fit fine. But the beautiful thing about this trailer is if we do eventually want to go back to the twin setup because we want that walkway, sorry for the wind noise, we can. That's another great thing about this trailer. You can, do the configuration all over again in the way that it was originally intended to be. And then, but like me and John were talking and we're just like, okay, we cannot keep buying mattresses, because what we did with the twin setup is we bought a queen size mattress that was not fiberglass. We did our research on that. John took a serrated knife and cut it but we were shy in width.
Yeah, so the benches in the Casita are 32 inches wide. If you cut a queen mattress down, I want to say it's 30 inches wide because it's 60 inches overall. So we
had about that much of a gap. And John, we were kind of talking about it, and we kind of maybe think that's why it wasn't, because I was uncomfortable. And we had the foam mattress, but it didn't feel right to me. And so I'm thinking that was the issue. And I know that there's a lot of mattresses. If you're on any Casita forums, they'll tell you go to get this specific mattress. I can't think of the name of it right now. But they're like $800, and I just wasn't up for spending $800 per bed. So the configuration setup is awesome. We feel like we have the freedom to do that. The kitchen space is what it is. It's small. I think you're going to kind of find that unless you have like a massive motorhome or trailer. I think in any small trailer, you're going to have a small kitchen space. Opt for the deeper sink. We have that. If you do dishes while you're camping, the deeper sink has been amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's bigger than our van. I would say...
we didn't even have a sink in our van.
Yeah, we did at one point, then we took it out for room. Yeah, one thing I would say is like the fit and finish isn't going to blow you away. It's not, a real fancy, trailer on the inside. There's not fancy strip lighting. There's not, just this really great fit and finish. But it's a fiberglass trailer. It's fully fiberglass, even on the bottom. And that was something that we really wanted. It's very affordable for a trailer. Everybody's got a different situation, but for us, it was very affordable. And it's like, I always have to remind myself of this, but it's a tent replacement. It's and it's a very fancy tent replacement. Yeah. It's warm inside. It's hard shell. There's a bathroom. There is a sink and a stove.
There's heat.
Yeah, there's heat. I mean, it's, there's a spot to sit down. This morning I sat down inside to drink my coffee initially. Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, for us, it's super nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and we haven't tried out the air conditioner. Didn't we get the upgraded air?
Yeah.
Okay. And guys,
I don't think you need the upgraded air, by the way. We got the upgraded air because it's actually a lower profile. Yeah. The regular air conditioner, if you get it with it, it's taller. So we got this one just because it looks maybe a little bit more, I don't know, pleasing to the eye, even though we don't look at the trailer too much from the outside.
Yeah. We haven't used the air yet. It just hasn't been warm enough. We will. We're going to camp in some warm places this summer, but the way we actually got this trailer is when we had made the decision that we were going to get a fiberglass trailer and contacted Casita, we we knew that there was going to be a wait because there just is a wait to build trailers. I don't know where their inventory is now. I don't know if that's still the case, but back in 2023, in like, I think we called in September.
Yep.
So September 2023 is when we contacted him. We expected to wait. So the guy that John was speaking to was like, hey, we actually have one trailer in stock that we could get to you guys in November. It's basically almost done being built out.
Yeah, it was in the production line. It wasn't in stock, but it was in the production line. And whoever ordered it initially
wanted to wait for the gel coat.
There's a gray gel coat now on the bottom you can get.
Yeah, which me and John were actually going to opt for because we knew we were going to have to wait for our trailer. So we were going to get that option. But we're not very patient. We're part of the, we want it right now, which we shouldn't be, but we kind of are. And so when he said that, we were like, we'll take it because it had like every option other than the gel coat on the bottom that we wanted. And
it has a gel coat. It's just not the gray gel coat. It's not the two-tone gray on the bottom.
Yeah. It has a gel coat. It's just not the bottom gray. And then they, this awesome guy delivered it to us from Texas in November. It was like the week before or 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And we wanted to really get out there and pick it up and camp. I think it's Rice, Texas is where they're from. And we wanted to camp in that area because we had never had a trailer before. We had so many questions. And when they deliver your trailer, I don't think he's a Casita employer. I think he was an employee. I think he was a contractor.
Yeah, and he told us that he's not supposed to go over all the stuff with the trailer. So that is something that if you go to Casita, the manufacturer to pick up, you're going to get a lot more information, a better overview, and all that stuff that we didn't get. And this guy was super nice. I mean, he was great.
So awesome.
He looked very rough. He got it to us in a day and a half from Rice, Texas. I mean, this guy must just drive.
Yeah, and they do not trailer your trailer. They pull it. He had a truck just like John's. He pulled it. It was November. It showed up, and this is no fault to Casita, but it was dirty. It had been through a road trip very quickly from Texas to Oregon. And me and John had every intention to pick it up. We just couldn't swing it with our job. We both work full time and just didn't have the time. But if you have the time and you're going to order Casita, I would definitely recommend going and picking it up if you're able and camping in that area, because I think there's so many questions.
Yeah, at least that's what we think now. Again, we haven't done this, so we're recommending something we haven't done. But that's what we think. Yeah, we think that would be the better option. If we could have done it, that's what we would have done.
Yeah, so I only recommend that just because we had to learn a lot of things on our own. John had to kind of read a lot about, how do you do this? And not everybody on the forums are so nice. There was a person who responded to John and said, you shouldn't be hauling a trailer if you don't know how to haul a trailer. And we kind of thought, well, okay, first of all, we're not being dangerous. We're not going 100 miles down the freeway, but how do you learn without doing it? But so there was a lot of self-learning. There was a lot of parking lot
training, personal training,
and setting the brakes. But overall, would you say it was pretty easy to?
Yeah, no, it was pretty easy. It was.
And now he backs it in like a boss.
No, not yet. But I back it in so much better.
So much better.
The spot we're in right now, we were talking about. I wouldn't have tried to put it in this spot when I first bought it.
This is a narrow spot.
And this time it wasn't much of a thought, and it wasn't very difficult to get in. I had to reset a couple times because there's pilings on both sides that are fairly close, but
John hit one of the pilings with this tire.
It wasn't bad. With my truck tire, not the Casita tire. So, and everything we say about the Casita, we watched YouTube videos.
A lot of YouTube videos.
We did not go look at any trailers. This is John and Carrie. We bought without looking at it in person.
We fly by the seat of our pants.
And we didn't look at any trailer. Yeah. So one thing that we're going to try to do, if we're in campgrounds that have the other popular fiberglass trailers, the ones that I know of off the top of my head are Scamp, Oliver, Escape, Bigfoot. I know there's a couple more. The Happier Camper. There's another one like a Cortez or something like that.
Oh, that's
anyway,
what it is. Yeah, Cortez.
There's a few other trailers out there. If we do see somebody else with a fiberglass trailer, one of the things we'll try to do is see if we can talk to them and see maybe if they'll let us get a little peek at the inside of theirs. We'll let them have a peek at the inside of ours, but that way we can give you in those videos, again, if we find people that have trailers, just, hey, what we think how that compares to the Casita. Like, I love the Oliver from the videos, but they're super expensive. I love the Bigfoot from the videos, but they're super expensive.
Never seen a Bigfoot. I've seen a Bigfoot in person from the outside, but never inside. And that is kind of like, I think if I had like the creme de la creme of a fiberglass trailer, to me, from what I know, like, I feel like it would be a Bigfoot. Yeah.
But some of these are also wider. I think the Bigfoot's wider. I think the Escape's wider. And so I don't like, for me being new, having the narrower trailer, the smaller trailer, smaller footprint.
Yeah, when we were coming to this campground, we were in the high desert. We were of Oregon. We were at 33 or 3,500.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, 33 or 3,500 feet in elevation. And there was some good wind. And so one of the things that we had watched on YouTube was like when people have these trailers and a big rig comes by you, the trailer will sway. And I'm going to have John talk about this sway hitch thing in a minute. But as John would be like, okay, Carrie, watch. And he has big old tow mirrors on his truck. And so I would watch the trailer, and as the semi would come by, there was one that you felt that huge gush of wind. Trailer was as steady as a rock, man. Just like, the truck's bigger than the trailer, like, right? The truck's heavier than the trailer. And so that was something, being new to towing. John knew, he's like, you know what, it's an overkill, but I want that overkill because I think you have a little bit more stability. Because when we go camping, there's some places that we go that it's very windy and narrow. So you want to we'll talk about the hitch. Okay, so first of all, let me back up. Because I don't want to make this video so long and boring you don't watch it. Overall, this is an amazing trailer. It has exceeded my expectations. It's easy to clean. It's easy to tow. It's easy to set up. It's easy to tear down. It's easy to get in and be super lazy and cozy and just settle down for the night. And it's warm when it needs to be warm. So if you are in the market for Casita, I would say go for it. Contact Casita, let them know what area you're in. And some people have signed up with Casita to, like, if you live in Wisconsin per se, you could contact Casita and they'll tell you who in that area has one, and you can actually go see it in person. We do that in our area. Casita has
we've had 3 people reach out to come and look at our trailer, and so far 2 of them have. The other one, we're still trying to work something out, but and it's been a really cool experience. And it just is, I say yes. Make the jump. You live, as far as I know, we live one time, and life is too short to sit on the fence and wish you would have about 10 years from now. And we're not getting any younger. So we're going to do this as long as we can. My dream is to do this full time, but money makes the world go round. And we have jobs and things we need to take care of at home. But and retirement's only about 20 years away.
We're probably going to work till we die. But no, it's great, you guys. I mean, you get out in places like this. I wouldn't have wanted to be in a tent this weekend. It was windy last night.
Yeah, very windy.
Got down in the 30s. Like, we were tent campers. I'm not opposed to it. We have a really nice 4-season tent, actually, that you can put a stove in. Like, there are tents you can buy that you're warm and comfortable. I get it. But at this point in my life, I don't want that anymore.
This is just easier. I'll say if you don't have a choice, I would rather get out and tent camp than not camp.
Right.
And so I would say that, but if you have the ability, this is definitely easier. And it's even with the towing, even with the frustration of the towing and getting kind of used to that, once you start getting used to it, it's it's just easier.
So Casita, yes. All right, I'm gonna be quiet because I don't know if you've been able to tell yet, I'm a talker. So I'm gonna be quiet and I'm gonna let John talk about the checklist. But what I do want to say really quick is if you have any questions about the Casita specifically, because I don't know about really anything else, let us know. Leave a question in the comment. I'm always happy to answer. And John's going to take it away.
All right. Okay, first, they have these set up different. They have a checklist for setup, then they have a checklist for travel. I'll go over the checklist for travel first. That's probably the most important. The first one, I mean, some of these are so just you assume, right? But it's good that they have them written down. One, make sure all your doors and drawers on the inside are closed and secured. All your windows are closed and locked. Your blinds are down. Your roof vent's closed. Your hood vent on the outside of the trailer is locked. Oh, the range hood vent, which ours is a recirculating range vent, so like there's no thing for that. Stabilizer jacks are up and secured. The power cord's put back away. The shower drain, if you have one, is shut off and closed. Propane tanks are shut off. The awning is secure and tight in its case. The trailer coupler is secured to the hitch ball and locked with a pin. Your front jack is raised and the wheel is removed. Ours, we have that power tongue jack, so now we just raise it up all the way. Termination valve is up so it won't drag. So basically you have a valve that comes out for your black and gray tanks, and you have to swing that up when you're traveling. The step, make sure that's up. Make sure your door is locked. If you have a sway bar, put on the sway bar pins if required. Safety chains, make sure those are put onto the vehicle and secure. Make sure your water hose and sewer hose are disconnected and stowed. If you have an outside TV cable, say you're staying at a RV campground and you have a cable that you've put in for TV, make sure that's disconnected. Do a trailer light check. Make sure your tire pressure is correct. And then water pump is off and the faucets are turned off. So that's your, I mean, that sounds like a lot, right? But some of it's just very basic and you're doing it anyway. And then for setup, so it's you put your jack wheel on the front jack. Again, we have the trailer or the power jack now, so we just roll that down. Disconnect the safety chains.
Which, can I say something about the power jack?
Mm-hmm. You knew she wasn't going to make it the whole checklist.
We were gonna, or we used to just keep the wheel on the front, and when we first got our Casita, the power jack was something that we had actually opted for this trailer, or the trailer was already coming with. We paid for it, and when it got delivered to us, it got delivered with the wheel. And the reason is Casita at that time was having really big problems with the power jack they were sending with their trailers. And so it was on, I don't know if they went with a new company. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a new company. They were testing new jacks and they ended up going with this.
And so we got this one just shipped to us 2 months ago. And so John put it on. I cannot believe the difference. If you watch our previous video, John goes over, well, first we have an installation video that is not instructional, but you can watch what John did. And then the other video is just the jack like working and doing what it's supposed to do. I cannot believe the stability difference in the front of the trailer. And I know that you don't necessarily have to have a power jack in order to have like a sled on the front of your trailer that's not the wheel. But if you're using your trailer with the wheel, don't. It's like such a difference of like the trailer being steady with not having that wheel on the front.
Okay, put on the wheel, disconnect the safety chains, and chock the tires. That was the first one. Unlock the trailer coupler from the hitch ball. Remove the sway bar if you have a sway bar on there. Level the trailer front to back, and then put the stabilizer jacks down. So obviously you're going to actually have to first move your trailer up off the ball of your vehicle, tow vehicle, and then pull your tow vehicle forward so you can level it. Open the shower drain shutoff if you need to. Open the air conditioner cover. That's only on the 13 and 16 foots, but pull the step down. Make sure all the appliances are in the off position and the water faucets are turned off. Open the propane tanks.
Which ours are already open.
Ours are open. Unlock the outside vent-to-hood vent. Plug in the trailer's power to a 30 amp.
Or don't.
Or don't if you're dry camping. I mean, that's obviously the full hookup. Hook up the water hose with a pressure regulator. Hook up the sewer with the gray water drain hose. Or the sewer and the gray water drain hose.
You're going to hear the train come by. Sorry, guys. You're going to hear some train noise.
Yeah, there might be a train, or there is a train coming by. You might hear it. Obviously, if you don't have, we've been a lot of places that have water and electric, but no dump at your campsite. So, again, you're only hooking up what you actually have. Either light the hot water heater, or you can turn it on if you have electric. So we usually we'll just use electric for our water heater if we're plugged in. And then if we're not plugged in and we're going to use the water heater because we have water, we'll use propane.
And it's so nice doing dishes in warm water when you're camping.
Yeah. And then turn on your appliances. So that's basically what they have here. Again, as we go through different campgrounds or different campsites, we'll try to at least a few times go over our setup, like how we're setting up the trailer. Not necessarily how we're making camp. Sometimes we're very minimal. Today, or this camping trip, we leveled the trailer. We had a couple chairs out to hang out by the fire, and that was it. I mean, we really didn't have nothing else. So it just depends, but we'll try to get, some of our, how do we set it up? Maybe how we're setting it up dry camping in another video, how we're setting it up if we have water and electric, and then maybe how we don't, all those things. So that's it. I think that's all I have.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Just as, I know this is just a talking video, but I hope that somebody finds this information helpful. And I appreciate you guys just being here and watching us and following our weekend adventures. And this has just been so fun to do. And it's something that we definitely feel passionate about. And so if you're looking to get into this type of weekend lifestyle, or if you're doing this full time, I encourage you to do it. It's fun.
Yep.
It's better than sitting at home on the couch. And we're just trying to become more active and just get in different areas and explore different corners of our state that we live in. So with that being said, we'll end this video here. Navy says goodbye. This is Navy. Isn't she so cute? Anyway, I don't know if she's a big fan of camping yet, so we'll see. But all right, guys, I encourage you to subscribe, to like my channel, and like this video. I guess not like my channel. Well, I want you to like my channel, but like this video. Subscribe. That's always helpful. And if you know somebody who is trying to, or looking into buying a trailer, share it with them. That would help me out a lot.
Or if you know somebody that wants to just watch people fumble through life and fumble through camping, subscribe for that too. Yeah.
We're here for you. All right, guys, sending you love and peace.
Bye.
And we'll see you on the next video.